Hey, Unapologetic Marine here. I wanted to come to you guys today and make this quick little video about the UN and the meetings that just went down with the UN and Biden and all that. So, I did some research on the UN, and the role of the United Nations is to maintain international peace, security, develop friendly relations among the nations. Right? So the UN was originally developed in the 1940s after the war to get nations together so we could stay away from future world wars, right? So the UN started with three initial pillars of the UN and what they stood by and what they were going to manage and control and stand by, right? So the first one was peace and security between nations, right? To understand, to make sure that nobody was going to be at war, nobody was going to use bombs and such to go against other nations, and then peace, to keep peace between those nations. The second was human rights in those nations. So, or human rights in all nations. So to ensure that that human rights were being upheld and followed, and nobody was treated wrongly. Well, we know in some nations that's not the case, right? People are still being treated very, very wrongly. And then the original third was development, and that was development in countries, to help other countries develop and to grow and to prosper and to be able to make money and provide for their people. So COVID came along, and this is getting to the fourth pillar now that was just added. It was just added last year, 2020. And that fourth pillar is the rule of law. Yeah, the rule of law. That was just added. It was just added 2020. Look it up on the UN's website and punch in rule of law. So this new rule of law includes critical issues such as hate speech and incitement of violence, and preventing radicalization and violent extremists. Yeah. Violent extremists. So, where did this come from? Because I'm pretty sure way back, even in the 1940s, there was radical extremists and violent extremists, right? There was. That's why we had war. So now they're just now adding it to the United Nations scope of control, and I call it control is because that's what they're trying to do. So let's look at what's going on in Australia right now, right? The people are trying to stand up against the government, like all other nations do, like Hong Kong tried, and China's tried, and the Iraqis tried, and Iranians have tried, and Afghanis, Afghanistan has tried too. So two of those countries, Iraq and Afghanistan, us, the United States, we're helping to fight against radicalization and violent extremists. But we all know how that turned out as soon as Biden took over. So let's go back to Australia because it's the biggest in the news right now. So the people are standing up, and the police are fighting against them, right? Pepper spray, even shooting some, right? Violence, violence. So the Australian Prime Minister a few weeks back talked about the New World Order. Yes, the New World Order. We've all heard it. We hear that the globalists are trying to do it. They're trying to take over. They're trying to create a one world government. Now, you can call me crazy or whatever, and I'm pretty sure some of you will. I really don't care. So, this new rule of law, this can encompass anything that the UN wants it to encompass, right? So this can encompass emergencies, say like a global pandemic of a virus or a disease. Now that they call it's a disease now. It's went from a virus to a disease. So they can fight against that. So they can use that for the UN to occupy a country and to control the people. Also within that scope of the rule of law is climate change. They've thrown that in. Yes, climate change. Last time I checked, climate change is a natural phenomenon that happens naturally from the world and from nature and the climate. The earth spins, the axis changes, and therefore the climate will change as well. Now, I'm not saying that humans have some input on that, and I'm not saying that they do. I'm not a scientist. I don't know this. I don't know it. But what I am saying is that the government is trying to gain more control of us. And they're enlisting the UN, and they're trying to give the UN the power to be able to go into countries and exercise this rule of law. So, also what it talks about in this rule of law is it talks about cybercrime. Cybercrime, yes. So, it's saying, like, what I'm reading into it is that if a country says that our elections were hacked by cybercrime, the UN can go in and take control. Now, so where does that all get us? That gets us to closer, one, to the New World Order that they're talking about, and the globalists taking over, and the globalist getting more control and basically like handing it over to whoever they want to control whatever they want. So they're taking the power away from the people, whether it be the United States, or it be Australia, or it be Japan, or it be Korea, or it be any of those. They're taking rights away, and we see it. We see it more and more. We see it with this pandemic, the so-called coronavirus pandemic. And I'm not saying that it does not exist. I'm not saying that it does exist. I'm saying that I'm not afraid of it. I've been all over. I haven't gotten coronavirus. But what I am afraid of is I'm afraid of losing our rights. I'm afraid of people just giving them away, thinking that, oh, this will just blow over. It might blow over, but the damage is being done. The precedence is being set. That's what some people don't understand, is that they're setting a precedent to say, oh, we had this pandemic, we were able to lock down the people and tell them that they couldn't go and do things. We did it once, we can do it again. And we can do it on a much greater scale this next time. And I know some of you are totally in agreement with that. And I know some of you aren't in agreement with that. And that's fine. That's fine. Keep your head in the sand. Stay in your little bubble. Pretend like it doesn't matter to you. But it says it right here. And the UN's not hiding it. They're not hiding it. Like it says right here go on the UN website. Rule of law was just added. It says it. In there it says the first 3 pillars are the 3 pillars of the UN's control. Then underneath that it says the 4 pillars of the UN control. And the 4th pillar that was added, which when you click on the UN and the 4 pillars, the 3rd one is the rule of law, and development is number 4. Like, oh, they just added development in there. No, look at the 3rd one. Development was already there. Because they wanted it, because we were going to help bring back Japan. We were going to develop Japan. And we did. The United Nations is not there for us. It's not there for the people. It's there for the politicians. It's there for the ones in charge. The government is not there for the people. We, the people, are there for the people. And if we don't stand up, and if we don't speak our minds, we're going to lose it all. I would rather fight a war on somebody else's land than fight a war on my land. Because I don't want my kids to see war. Because it's not pretty. So with that being said, I hope everybody has a good weekend. I wanted to get this video out there. If you like the content, hit like. If you want to subscribe, I'm going to try to start coming up and having videos every day. I'm moving my schedule around, trying to get to some videos every day. I'm going to try to start doing that next week. So, subscribe to my channel. Hit the likes. Leave a comment. Tell me what you liked about my video, what you didn't like about my video. If you have suggestions, topics that you would like me to talk about, I'll talk about it. For the trolls out there, you can go ahead and troll. You can leave your little smart-ass comments. That's fine. I plan on having a channel where I read comments. Kind of like mean tweets, but it'll be funny comments. So, y'all have a good weekend and stay frosty. The Unapologetic Marine, out.